All right, everybody, welcome to our Monday, October 27th Park and Recreation Commission meeting here at the Rosemary Recreation Complex. We do have a quorum tonight with 3 sitting commissioners. We do have one that is out sick tonight, and one of them is out on a work function, but we do have a quorum, so we can really start the meeting here. What we usually do is we go right in order on our agenda. That we do have some people in the audience that I assume they want to make a public comment for the open forum that was suggested prior, so I will yield the floor to, is there a representative that would like to speak? Mr. Michael O'Brien from the school committee chair, so please, and Lisa Snesgard, the vice chair. Dr. Gudikance, want to at least acknowledge you too. Peter?
It's a fun Monday night.
Yeah,
It's fun Monday night.
Yes, thank you very much.
No problem.
I am Michael O'Brien, Chair of the Needham School Committee, also town meeting member, parent of 2 kids in our Needham schools as well, a 9th and a 7th grader.
Elisa Scatford, Vice Chair of the School Committee and also a member of the school building. And town meeting member, and parent of children.
Yes, there you go. So thank you very much for allowing us the opportunity to provide a public comment, Commissioner Gerstle and Commissioners here this evening. It's great to be here and engaging with you as members of the school committee and Parks and Recreation as we continue our conversations on the Pollard Middle School building project. We wanted to just acknowledge the letter that we had provided to Commissioner Gerstle that opened up a conversation for our board and for your board to have further discussion as we consider the options for where we are with the land that we're considering for different sites between Pollard and DeFazio, and the openness to discussion for potential land transfers and further discussion there. We appreciate the concerns and are committed to a cooperative approach that Parks and Recreation Commission continues to play such a vital role in stewarding our community's recreational facilities and resources. This is certainly a unique opportunity for our town, and we welcome further engagement and open discussion. We look forward to partnering with you and to meet the evolving educational needs of our students while preserving and strengthening our wonderful recreational spaces that we have here in Needham. And thank you for the opportunity to continue productive conversations on this endeavor. So thank you.
No problem. And just to be full transparency is that there was a letter that was delivered to my address by Mr. O'Brien. I had that scanned, sent to Stacy Mulroy, the director. She then dispersed that letter throughout the commission as part of our packet that we received on Friday. Dr. Gudikance also forwarded that same letter to us on Monday, just as the kind of, I'd like to say, I'd rather have it twice than not at all. So I appreciate both parties sending that letter to it. It has been distributed to the commission. All 5 members do have it, but as you see, we are 2 short tonight. So I know that they are aware of it. The feedback from them, I do not have as at this time, but we will have feedback from all the commissioners. And I do appreciate the letter of the openness of things on there. And again, communication is always key, so we appreciate you reaching out.
Thank you.
So.
For my part, you also, I felt, had a very productive and interesting meeting last week, generating a list of questions about the fields and what a impact of a possible project on DeFazio would be. I know that some of the staff worked very hard over the weekend to put answers to those questions, and I understand that that did come to Stacy earlier today to be distributed to the commissioners. We also will have that as an FAQ on the Pollard project website, so that the questions and the answers that were generated will be available to the public. So again, thank you for your thoughtfulness in generating those questions, and the answers may turn around and generate more questions, and we hope that those would be forwarded so that the team has an opportunity to answer those as well.
So if I may, you're going to post, because it is public record, you are going to post the answers to those questions that were presented to us at, I think it was like 4:12 that I think Merrill sent it. I haven't had a chance to look at any of the answers yet, just because I was traveling for work. So what happens if we have follow-up questions? Will those follow-up questions, do those questions be posted on your public website
Yes.
after we have follow-up questions or before, or will there be kind of a two-part? Like the questions now that were answered, will that go on up now, or will there be?
It
a
hasn't been
waiting?
posted yet, so I expect them to be posted in the next day or two, so that you all have a chance to look at them. And, you know, again, just in the interest of keeping this process very public, you know, I think the answers would come to you first for follow-up questions, and then again, also put onto the website.
So there will be multiple updates on those said questions, because it could, like, say,
The
and
FAQs are
again,
being updated, I mean, the FAQs get updated regularly, so yes, this would fall into that same category.
okay. Mr.
Just to
Chastain?
say, yeah, this, just before I left, I started to print it, I haven't had a chance to read it, so I appreciate, getting this, maybe this isn't the right place to ask it, but do you have a preference for which site? Do you, you know, I mean, obviously, we don't like Phasea, right? And maybe a hard sell for us, but I think that there's been some interesting things. Do you have a preference?
So personally, you know, let me answer two different ways. I'll answer as a school committee member. As a school committee member, my goal is to have a project that best suits the needs of our students and also meets the needs of our town. I have been, as you know, on the record saying that, I think that some of the conversations back and forth and it's a distraction. It has not allowed us to move forward in one direction or another. And so I had gone on the record, even though I wasn't able to attend the all boards meeting, supporting the Pollard site. I will say that as the architects have come back and as different pieces of information have become more available about what a project would look like, what its sustainability factors would look like, for example, what its ability to meet, you know, one of the goals is to have a building that gets sunlight and connects to the outdoors. And you know, the information that continues to be developed on the Pollard site does show that those goals are not met as well as I would have liked them to be. That gives me great pause. And to me, you know, if you can get a good or even a pretty good building on the Pollard site, that was kind of the direction that I was going. The information that's come up has led me to believe that it's not an A site and a B plus site, that it is an A site. And, you know, one of the PVPC members said, it's not even a B site. That was concerning to me. I am on a personal level, like the fields are important to me too. Recreation space is important to me too. I think that communities that pave over all their green space are lacking something pretty quickly. And so, and I know that our students are also our kids that play sports. So making sure that they have access to good quality fields is really important to me. I really like the plans that the designers, you know, they're clearly listening. I thought that last week's meeting here with them, that they demonstrated that they really were listening to your concerns. And I think as you read through the answers to the questions, you know, that made me feel pretty good too. You all get to feel about it how you want to feel about it. As I've gone out to the community, I expected a huge amount of pushback from people about DeFazio. That has not been my experience. You know, particularly I was speaking to 35 or 40 Broadmeadow parents that gathered on Friday morning. And they were like, well, the obvious choice is 6 to 8 through DeFazio, right? And I was like, no, that is not an obvious choice. But if you think, you know, you need to write emails and start communicating with the school committee, communicating with the select board, communicating with Parks and Rec about what's important to you. So, you know. Are the designers going back and looking at the Pollard site too? This is what feasibility is all about, you know, they kind of come up with one thing and you go like, well, that doesn't quite get you there, and then they rejigger things and they say, okay, what about this way? And you go like, you know, we're maybe a little closer, whatever. So, you know, could they continue to come up with a project on the Pollard site that I think meets the goals as well as what they've kind of proposed on the DeFazio site? I would love to see that, because I don't want to have this battle about
We would love to
DeFazio.
see that too. We would really love.
But
to
I'm
see
not
that.
sure that the site is gonna allow it. Like what they keep saying is they're not sure that the site is going to allow it. And, so, you know, I think it's a really important conversation that and continuing to engage and have that conversation, I think is
And
just being very candid.
And asking the questions on behalf of both of us, and thank you for sharing your comments, Elisa. I would start by saying we are supporting our educational plan that we've shared before, that is a 6 through 8 middle school. And where that site is, whether it's the Pollard space or within DeFazio, we're continuing these conversations, but that first and foremost is the school committee's unanimous interest is to make sure that we can ideally move forward with that 6 through 8. Is so vital for so many reasons for our community, for the continuity, for transitions, for our students' learning. Between the two sites, as I continue to have conversations with the public, with town leaders, there's a lot of interest for DeFazio. There's some interest for the Pollard site as well. And we're still uncovering a lot of information with studies and traffic wetlands that will help inform us. There is something to be said about the DeFazio site that is attractive. It's a flat, open piece of land that we know comes with a lot of complexities and challenges, but also opportunities that if we can get it right in terms of understanding the traffic and all the other wetlands, conservation will be so critical. And we hope that from last week's meeting, as I was not here present publicly at that meeting, but have had the opportunity to watch the meeting and replay, hope that you saw some pieces from what were design elements that would be of potential interest as we look at what could be re-envisioned for the Pollard site, for field space, for if we move forward with the DeFazio. We know that there's a lot of complexities for both sites. But again, continue to appreciate your commission's openness for the sites. We know where you've gone on the record in terms of DeFazio, but we appreciate, or I appreciate the PPPC, SBC's decision to move forward with all 7. And of the 7, it's really a new build that the school committee supports. And one that's the 6 through 8. And still figuring out between the Pollard and DeFazio sites.
Thank you. We think there's a lot of scope to DeFazio, but we of course have different constituents to some regard. And we've been asked why we haven't actually rallied our people. And we have purposely not done that because we don't want to muddy the waters and we don't want to jeopardize this project, but that has been suggested to us numerous times. And we have not done that just because we don't think that's the right thing to do right now, but we are getting support from our side. And again, I think it's just different constituents that we. But
No, I agree. I mean, it's, you know, you're hearing that side, we're hearing some of the other side too, of just, you know, people on the streets, casual texting, casual walking by on the street is, you know, hey, what's going on? What's the gist? That especially user groups and people that invested money into the Field of Trees project, that they want to know what, you know, what's going on and what it is. And that is something that, you know, we're trying to keep the public as informed as we can, but you're right. don't hit the panic button, let's not reach out to certain groups and certain things, but here's the other thing, these groups are aware on their own. They're self-aware, they know what's going on, and they're asking us for information of, hey, we're hearing this, we're hearing that, and no one wants to spread inaccurate information or anything like that. We all want to be, as they say, completely transparent, and we're doing the best that we can on this, but there are a lot of people out there that are actively wondering, okay, what exactly is going on? We're trying to communicate that message out as best as we can. And the vessel of which to do that, we're working on that, of how we get them to the user groups, so.
And I'm happy, I told the group at Broadmeadow and I've been telling other people, if you have 10 people that want to get together, I will come and talk to your group. We will make it, I have the benefit of not working full-time, so. So my schedule has a little bit more flexibility, but I'm happy to come and answer questions and, present the 7 options as we're seeing them right now, the way that I did to Broadmeadow parents. Happy to do that, so.
Perfect.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you. Any other open or public comments? Would anyone like to speak? Okay. Now we will go into the director's report, where we have Stacy and Hannah. I will hand it over to you. You can go over the fall programming numbers, winter event numbers, financials, and highlighted spotlight. Or maybe yes, maybe no.
Yeah, the highlights are the revised version of the agenda.
Understood.
So the director's report was pretty quick this week because we met last Wednesday, not a ton of changes. But I did go through our numbers, they did, our program numbers went up a bit, mostly due to Spooky Walk, I would say. So I think we were doing pretty good there, let's see. Spooky Walk, so we went, just under 500 kids, which it went well over 500 registrations by the time we got to Saturday. We had, fortunately or unfortunately for my staff, a lot of day of registrations on the over at Greens, but we did have the IT stuff to get it done, so our numbers jumped, as you can see, from last week to this week for the events, just over $1,300, and I think most of that, if not all of it, is due to Spooky Walk. So
I heard it went great.
it was great.
It
And,
was.
I have
Beautiful
some
day.
pictures of the traffic cone, which
Where
is
we had a
great.
traffic cone.
Yeah. Had to dress up. And just to say, I mean, how many years have we been doing the Spooky Walk? 24 years? And it just gets impressive every single year. I think you and your staff should be commended the way that it was run. It was organized chaos. To have that many people walk around with signs and families and people that are first time never going through with it, just the organizational and how people generally loved everything that was going on there. It was very well attended. I know one of the traffic concerns that we had talked about, that there was a lot of kids, a lot of people walking around the town common, that just keeping an eye on it. I didn't see anything, I didn't hear anything. Luckily, I mean, that's a good thing to happen, but I mean, you should commend everybody on the staff. That I thought was extremely well done. And I know with being in the table next to you, there are a lot of people that were from out of town
Tons.
that didn't know about this, that came with families that were in town, that would say, I wish we did things like this. Wow, this is really nice. A lot of new families too, that at least were coming up and talking. So again, to you, the staff, even Chris Burnham, you should give him a compliment.
Bert did the heavy lifting, so I have to say. I think the definition of Park and Rec is organized chaos, at least that's my experience in the last 25 years, so. It went well, it went really well, and we had the addition of the inflatables over at Greens this year. I do wish that the fertilization of greens had happened either earlier or later. Because there was a very distinctive smell over there for a little bit. The kids didn't notice, but it was a little. But it was comical. It's like that's just the way town government works. So the financial information from last week to this week is, like I said, not a ton, most of it due to Spooky Walk, but 170 folks for about $70,000 in the last week or so. Overall, the numbers from January 1st, we're almost at 900,000 at this point. I do believe we will get there by the end of the year, if not more so. We've got some big ticket items coming up, Neshoba. If Neshoba's prices are skyrocketing, and between that and the busing, we just can't, it's unfathomable to me, because I started running this program when I was in Lincoln in 2001, And let's just say the numbers were very different.
Do you think we'll be able to run it? Do people have any?
We haven't run it the last 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years ago, we tried Blue Hills and it never
Not enough
snowed.
snow.
And they don't have the kind of equipment to like supplement that.
Right, with the rentals and whatnot.
Yeah, and then, but we just couldn't get the numbers. So we'll see, hopefully it goes through. We're gonna do a big push now that Spooky Walk is over for that program. Winter Days, which is the week-ish plus of, December recess is full already, close to full. Even the days that Chris was like, I wanna run it on Christmas Eve, and I was like, you're not gonna get anybody. Well, it was
Feel that.
yeah, it's only a half day, but like, I guess if I had young kids at home and I could get them out of the house for a half day on Christmas Eve, that might be. a
Christmas on
bonus.
a Thursday? Christmas on Thursday.
It's on a Friday.
On a
It's
Friday.
on Friday. So yeah, so that one's filling up. This week's employee spotlight was Hannah Corrigan. I won't go through all of the fun things, but, she did manage to drop the word pickleball in here without actually saying that she likes it, which I thought was kind of impressive, so. And I wanna highlight this picture on the right, this is a picture of Hannah at the Memorial Day tournament in Needham.
Yeah, fabulous that you put that.
Yep, so. There's that.
Did Human Resources look through this to show that she has a day off?
Yeah. she said
That's
she's
being
gonna
noticed that she doesn't get days off?
What?
Where's your
Say
favorite
what
way
you-
to spend your day off? She doesn't get them?
She's
Oh,
Pretty
like,
much.
what are those?
she gets, she's, don't. Anyway, that is the director's report. The next document is just our links, because we had a couple of files that were. They weren't gonna PDF well, so I put down some links to the information that we can talk about whenever you wanna get there, which I think is.
The field maintenance survey, we've done that before, that is something new.
No, so. I'm gonna stop sharing, so. So we used the field maintenance survey this year because, Needham Baseball Softball came to us and said they have been spending a ton, as they came to our, one of our meetings, said they've been spending a ton of money on diamonds. And the town, and I'm paraphrasing, can the town do more? This past spring, we did spend about $68,000 to renovate the diamonds. When I say the diamonds, I literally mean the diamond. I don't mean the grass. I don't mean the outfield. I mean the dirt diamonds. You could rake those things every single day and still not be ahead of the maintenance that you need to do on that. So Needham Baseball Softball came back and said, well, a lot of these other towns around us, they do so much more and they do this and maybe they sub this out, and is there any chance you can do more for us financially, whether it be sub it out or, they suggested we get an FTE, so, that process is a little bit.
Diamonds?
Yeah, just a diamond, yeah. it's
Well,
pretty-
for Ed's team, and I'm not saying Ed's team doesn't need it, but it's not like Ed hasn't been asking, or we have been not asking for park ranger since we got Woo for another one.
And
so-
Ed knows if he asks, we will back them up, but we don't carry a lot of clout.
No.
Right?
So, so we decided with one of our summer interns, to gather, they came up with some questions, Karis from DPW came up with some questions, and we had Dennis Ching call a lot of our neighboring towns to get information, so we could sort of compare apples to apples. And so that's the document that we did link it up to you. That's the first link. The second link is Ed's sort of working document that he's had over the years for as long as he's been here, to find out, basically, they wanted to go back and see outside of capital projects where we completely overhaul field. As you know, Ed's favorite thing to do is the fluff and buff. So basically, it's like a once over, bring it back up, really dig in there, get some fertilizer. So the second document that is linked is his working document. Him and Mike went through that to say, like, basically, on the diamond for the last 10 years, we have done a fluffing buff or more on every diamond. We all agree that the elementary school diamonds are the worst. There's just hundreds and hundreds of feet on them. You can't take that away. But if it's not a turf field, it's gonna compacted and we can't keep up with it. And it's really hard to do maintenance on fields at schools. Because that kind of thing is super distracting for the teachers and the kids. And it's like trying to do maintenance around recess is next to impossible. So they do get hard pack, which is why one of our elementary school projects this year, we are looking to request a turf field, because they will be more playable for long. So those are the two documents. I've had a few meetings with DPW. What the staff over at DPW is asking is this a priority for Park and Rec? Do we wanna throw more money at the diamonds? Because if it's not a priority necessarily, then it doesn't make sense for DPW to ask for the increase in their budget, right? And if it is a priority, and this is just me speaking, my guess is FinCom's gonna come back and say, well, why don't you increase your fees? Right? Cause that would be the easiest way to cover this. Equitability. Considering equity, it would be really difficult to increase fees holistically if we're only gonna do more work on the diamonds. So I wanted to give all the information to you, so you guys had some time to digest it. It is a lot of information. Hannah did a lot of work to take Dennis's survey and make it more
Streamlined.
readable.
It's a lot of data.
There's a lot of
Big
data there.
difference, even though we're like 5 years.
So I think. I've glanced at it and then tried to really get into the weeds on it, and basically what I come up with is. We're right in there, and we're pretty high up
Mhm.
for the amount of work that we do.
And yet.
And the amount of
even
fields
baseball
that we have.
doesn't feel that way, right? Even baseball, they came, whenever that was in the summer,
Yes.
July, and they had a long list of complaints.
Yes.
And how much money and time they spend on the diamonds.
Correct. Now, I would say, I will go out on the record, say Memorial is rough. It gets wet all the time, it's unplayable regularly, that is supposed to be our number one diamond for the 90-foot baseball. And it just isn't, because it's not playable most of the time.
Is it drainage?
Yeah, it doesn't drain, it
Yeah.
just sits.
Mm.
And it definitely needs, if not a fluff and buff, although I'm sure if we wanted to do anything, I'm guessing stormwater would come into play, especially on that, field. So. My question to you folks, and I don't think it's a decision you necessarily have to make or want to make today, but. Is it a priority to ask DPW to either, my guess is if we had to, we would have to sub it out. If this was a priority, DPW would have to sub it out, they just don't have the staff to do it. Or the hours in the day, so. That's the pushback from, or the question from DPW and myself, but I wanted to get as much information in front of you as I could. I also have a lot of feelings. In general, about our field fees, this fall more than ever, we have had poor Woo. Has had to kick quite a few people off the fields because they don't have permits. Because the field is permitted and yet nobody is on the fields. And so while I know that I proposed back in 24, 23, that we should start doing a per hour charge in 2027, I really feel that we might want to consider moving that up, because Woo's in the middle of it. We hear from him almost daily about some lovely interaction that he's having. I know for a fact that there is another very large user group, Flag Football, that has never requested practice time and now will absolutely request it, because those are the ones that were getting kicked off.
Practice time without being permitted.
And so, and if I try not to drive through town on the weekends because it just makes my blood boil, but I have been in town the last couple of weekends and the fields that are permitted from 8 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night are not being used. And that means nobody else can use them. They're not being turned back to us, and there's no like ding to the user groups, because we charge currently just per person, so it doesn't matter if they use 12 hours or 40 hours, it's the same per person fee.
And you think if we charged on a per hour basis, that would hopefully make them be
I think
more
we should
thoughtful.
charge
in their
in
requests.
addition, not only. Cause I think we should charge per person and in addition a per hour. Now, I understand that we can't on October 27th say, hey, user groups, on January 1, we're gonna hit you with this $50 an hour fee on top of everything else that you haven't had time to incorporate into your fees. Maybe the fall, I'm not really sure, but I know that Hannah has taken over fields, and between the two of us, I have never spent so much more time on fields than I have this fall. And fall is not our business,
Right.
spring, we are double. So. And it's just because, Woo's like, did they have a permit? Nope, you gotta get rid of him. Okay, thanks, he's taking care of it.
I think the big thing is that schedule that you're referring to from 2023 has those per hour fees proposed for the youth starting in 2027. It's already starting for adults, but I think fall of 2026 would be a more attainable deadline for them, and if we come to them in January, with that, it's better than waiting till 2027.
The cost of their programs is going to be pretty significant. To the big programs.
If they request the same amount of permits that they are right now, yes. But if they request the number of permits that they need, it will certainly go up. Absolutely, and I'm not saying I just throw out $50 an hour as a random
Right.
number, I'm not saying that's the correct number, certainly not to start, but. If the commission decides that taking care of the diamonds is a priority, there are going to be 5 or 6 user groups right behind. Oh, all we have to, like, if we come to you and ask for $70,000, you're gonna say yes.
Well, because we did the softball fields and then immediately baseball says, what about us? Right? I
Yes,
mean,
I was under the impression it was one organization, but
so was I, but as soon as we finished, before we did softball came and said, there's no equity, but you've treated our girls terribly. We said, okay, we listened. We'll do these softball fields, and the town got behind it, and then as soon as they weren't even, the paint wasn't even dry. And the baseball side of that house was here saying, oh, what about us? We're the poor, relatives. No, wait a minute, you're not.
Yep.
Right, but you're right, there'll be somebody, so is it one group more than another? We have some very big groups and.
well, I think the reason why diamonds stick out is they're not shared with any other user.
Right.
Like lacrosse, football, field hockey, soccer, they all share the same rectangles. The dirt diamonds are very specific to Needham baseball, softball. And they are the highest
More
maintenance, yeah, because the weeds and the dragging, we don't have the staff to get it done every day. So. I guess that's my question for the commission to sort of think about is like, is this a priority? If so, how much money do we want to try to recoup from the user groups? When do we ask? Either my budget or Ed's budget or, DPW's overall budget, what's the next step? So,
And do we charge more for baseball than we charge the other groups? Do we charge them a higher user?
I mean,
fee?
there's also like, we haven't passed on the charge of the porta potties.
Right, we've absorbed it.
And we go out to bid for porta potties because we need to, and this year, there's like 3 more asks for certain fields.
Yeah.
It's really hard to say no.
We never did Avery. We didn't put one in Avery.
We did not put it on Avery, because every time I put one in Avery, I get yelled at, and the neighbors go crazy because they don't wanna look out and see a porta potty. I keep saying, would you like to look out and see somebody peeing, you know, in the woods or
The
like
alternative
against
is
your
not so
like
attractive.
car, but
Right.
so. You know, a lot of the asks I get in addition to what we already do is our little league fields. And our little kids, and it's like, yeah, right, and they're reasonable, it's like. Recently, the Broad Meadow School, we don't, there's no place to go to the bathroom around there if the school's closed. None at all. So. We have added some more porta potties and, you know, I've added it into our budget, our operating budget, so that's fine, but. That could have been a hefty pass on to the. User groups, although how you break that up equitably, I do not know, which is why I put it in operating budget.
Mm. Okay.
One thing I would just go a little bit on this is that. Again, it does sound like baseball just because of the use of the fields, where you do have multiple sports that play on the same field. Is that it is going to be a little bit different, like you can have a kid slide on a grass field and they have grass stains on their pants or shorts or shoes or whatever it might be. You have a kid that slides in the dirt, they're probably walking home with some of that dirt. That dirt is not easily to replace, and you're gonna have more divots and holes and things on that make fields more unplayable because of these divots. Where you have a grass field where it spreads, say, the wealth of the damage that you don't see it as much as you would say on a baseball field. But the other part about this is too, is that there are not a lot of places or services that take care of fields or diamonds specifically. That, yes, there are a lot of landscaping trucks that do come to Needham, and it's great to see the Grapes of Wrath and Lenahan and everything, and they do great landscaping work. They don't do diamond work. They don't do field work. That's not their specialty. That if they want the grass cut, that's a simple task on your house, but might not be simple for the fields. That I know that there have been certain times that other organizations has hired an outside source and they've literally caused more damage than good. They run over sprinkler heads, which means that you now have to shut down the irrigation, and then we are on the hook for fixing that irrigation. There was one instance where there was a service out there that they saw a little patch in the ground, there was a hole. They decided to fill up with rocks and a big heavy cement rock, so no kid would fall in it. That was a sprinkler head. So then that sprinkler head could then not water the field and actually broke the sprinkler system. So again, it's one of those things that they think they're doing the good, but they don't know the inner works of it. The Fenway Park crew has a workforce of 37 people that take care of one diamond. We don't have 37 DPW people to take care of all the diamonds, all the soccer fields and lacrosse fields and everything else that the DPW has to do. It's just, you know, we're not the Red Sox. We don't have that type of funds to do that. But this is also for the certain groups where we can't get people to pick up trash. How are we expecting these people to do maintenance on the fields? That again, I think it's a rake of a field or cutting of a grass or certain things like that. They want to do the right thing, but they're probably causing more harm than good. So it is that kind of balance of, we understand you want to do something, but then you can't even do some of the things that we ask you to do, or to pick up trash after it, where, yes, I bet you the fields could look a lot nicer if Eddie and Screw didn't have to take half an hour to walk around to Fazio to each field and pick up the trash that was left there by the user groups every single time. Or pick up dog, stuff that was left there, even though there are big old signs that say no dogs allowed on it. That if everyone were to kind of follow and do what they're supposed to do, there might be time that you can spend an extra half an hour, 45 minutes on a field, on a diamond, making it look better. But when you have to pick up the basic stuff like trash, that then takes away from your day.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's not easy, and yeah, we'd love for all our fields to be. I mean, the other part is Eddie likes taking fields offline during certain parts of the year because they're gonna grow back better and they're gonna be usable. That you take them off for the summer, they're ready for the fall. If you have every field open every single time, you're going to wear them out. You have to take things offline, you have to let them rest, because if you're paying this money to have the grass grow and then everyone's stepping on it, you're literally throwing money out the window, in my opinion. Jim, anything?
I agree.
The same thing, yeah, with courts, tennis courts, we take them offline in winter time because, you don't want people, A, getting hurt on them, but B, you want to give them a little bit of a rest. The nets, we don't want the nets breaking because they're freezing cold outside, those cost money,
Like salt.
so.
So I don't know the answer with baseball diamonds, we gotta think about that one. I do like the idea of charging for the number of hours you're using fields, like group is using field, because you're right, groups are permitting and not using, and it means other groups can't get their time, and then we have conflicts I don't always mind that they don't use all their time because it does give the grass a chance to grow. So it's not, I don't like to see the news every waking hour, every hour of daylight, but they shouldn't monopolize the fields, and then we have groups like Flag saying we'd like a field, and we say, no, we don't have any, you're too late, there's nothing available. That doesn't feel right either.
And then, like I said, Woo is in the middle of those two situations. And sometimes with repeat offenders, so it makes it a tough job for him and. You know, Saturdays are a busy day and that's when I get most of our text messages are starting to come through. Mhm.
All of these should be addressed at our field summit, which I
Yep.
assume will be
January.
January.
Yeah, I should have a date and get that out there, but
Yeah.
yeah, I just wanted to sort of get the information in front of you so you had time to digest it.
That was fine.
Um,
Anything else with the director's report?
It's always baseball. It's always baseball.
Gonna move on to the
Third
camp
district.
and pool reports. I'm gonna do the pool report first.
Yeah.
Is a live link. And I'll turn it over to Hannah, cause I didn't do it.
Can you click on the membership numbers first time?
Excellent report.
Thank you.
Very well done.
So there's a lot of different colors going on, which I can see now that it's up there on the big screen, but we had a couple different, price seasons, I guess. So we had the super early bird, which the dates are whenever we started selling, but I just put January 1st to April 14th. We did see a huge bulk of our passes, for residents there, as you can see with the 236. Not as many on the non-resident side.
I'll put it back up, sorry.
Which obviously I wish they took advantage of that, but I'll gladly take their money during the regular pricing as well. We did see a little bit more in the early bird, but still plenty of people came in, for the resident. Pricing during the regular
Sorry.
season, that's okay, I have it up as well. So overall, residents 611 passes versus, the roughly 700 or so from the season before. I think we definitely saw a little bit of a decrease, however, you never know year to year. I think last year we definitely had a little bit different weather. This year, significantly hotter, 4 days. When it comes to the daily pass revenue, we did switch up our pricing a little bit as well as what we were offering. So there we just have our total and then number of how many we sold. And kind of like the breakdown of how much per ticket we sold, or per section of those ticket options.
Would like to put in a little caveat that the people entering the daily passes on a regular basis are staff.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed as when I started pulling reports, there were some totally wacky things in there, so. What I can tell you, it's probably wacky from year to year, so it's not perfect, but it is our best guess at it. But I did see some things that were. I
Didn't
don't
make
know
sense.
how they did it, but they managed.
That's what the asterisk at the top.
Yeah.
So. In theory, if you took the price times the number sold, you are gonna see a little bit of a discrepancy, and I think that has to do with a couple refunds that they. Had gotten approval through Stacy or I to do. And then rain checks, I didn't count those up, but we didn't give out more than 20 or so. That's essentially. You came to the pool, we either shut it down, and we give you a slip. That's printed out, it's basically you paid one day, but you can come a different day. And then daily visit numbers. So I know this one is a little hard to read, however, we did have quite a few people visit this summer. We were open significantly more time this year, however, we did have less attendance. But even with our visitation, our peak visitation days, we did have way more people this year. So like On July 6th, 8/11, that's way more than I think our peak visit day of last year. I didn't compare those, but. That was super fun to see, and then, I think it was interesting, I was trying to pull and see how many people. Like the top 5 people of like how many times they actually came in, and. One gentleman came in 75 times, so probably almost every day, or if not, came in like for lap swim and then later in the day as well. And then days of operation this summer was 92 days in comparison to 63 last summer. So
Wow, so interesting. So the days we were open was significantly more.
So there,
But-
yeah, two
but-
factors, we opened 3 weeks earlier than,
Yeah.
we did open on actually Memorial Day, which we haven't done since I started. And we had very few where we had to shut down the pool for the whole day. I don't know that we had any full.
I think we only did partial closures because it was,
We had a pump issue, didn't we, for one day?
we just tried to hold out as long as we could. There
We
was.
did, but then, so most of the issues that happened during the pool, thankfully, sorry adults, it happened in the lap pool.
Mm.
So we were able to keep the family pool open,
Okay.
so we didn't actually have to close the facility.
But you would think the numbers would be higher. So we had so many more days we were open, operational, and yet our attendance.
Well, I will say,
Mhm.
because we live in New England, the first 2 weeks that we were open nice and early, it was like 70 degrees every
Right,
day.
it was cold.
So our lap swimmers were brave, they came, but our weekends were
They were-
minimal.
But then we
Yeah.
had that long hot spell.
Mhm.
But even during those hot days, there was not
It was
as
never-
many people as I would have liked to see.
So what do you think? Any idea what's going on? Are other pools experiencing that? That's interesting.
I haven't talked to any other aquatics
Yeah.
people,
Mhm.
I
I
think
talked to Weston a little bit. They're on par,
Yeah.
Okay.
we'll see.
Yeah,
Mhm.
interesting. And the daily passes are like 40% of the total revenue. Are you surprised at that? I would have guessed more people would buy a season pass.
Since 2020 and 21, 22, we still had a lot of memberships, seasonal passes.
Yeah.
They have dropped off. We also see the number of, and I don't know if this is a correlation throughout town, but the number of staff requesting vacation time has also increased drastically. My guess, and if you drive around town in the summer, it's a lot less busy here.
It's very
Um,
quiet. It is.
And so I think summer people like, definitely in 23, it was like, we can finally go back to our normal summer, we're out of here. This year especially, and I hadn't seen it as much in past years, but August became the ghost town that it used to be.
Hmm.
From what I understand, the same thing happened in the pool that I was at previously. It was like August 5th hits and it's like, everybody's gone. And that, I think, was on track for us as well.
I think it's also amazing where you see some of the days, if you start looking at June 10th, June 11th, June 12th, and then you jump right to the 20th. Where it's just, you can tell,
that's the weekend.
yeah,
Yep.
the weekend, school's starting to get out, more people are enjoying it, so it is nice to see those numbers just jump so dramatically.
Yeah, the 0 number days in June, we were actually closed to the public, those are training days.
So 14th and the 19th being, it was a makeup training day.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
And non-residents, do you think you saw more non-residents this year than previously? It looks to me like.
From my understanding, not as many as you saw in 2019. But yeah, we have a good amount. If you Google pools in Massachusetts, outdoor pools in Massachusetts,
Where numbers?
we're the first one. And if you look at the pictures online and you see the rates, it's pretty reasonable to drive here and be here for the day.
If you go to staffing numbers, this one will be pretty quick. This is just how many people we had in each position. Total salaries. I have put out a return of interest form, have about 15 people respond. Only one person said that they're not coming back. I know 4 people that aren't coming back due to getting full-time job opportunities or internships, which obviously we like to see. And so I anticipate that a lot of people will be filling that out. I do have a November 30th as a deadline for that, so they better fill it out within the next 30 days or so, but. We're definitely trying to speed up the process. I just had a meeting with HR to figure out how we can get those 15 people their offer letter for 2026
Mhm.
already, which I think is crazy, but. If I can make it work, I will. When it comes to the assistant pool supervisors, I think that a lot of those are gonna be newer people. Not necessarily new to Rosemary, but new to the position. That was the same case this year. I think I just keep getting. People who are, here right before their internship or their real adult opportunity begins, and that's just the way that's gonna go, unless I get another. Logan, who's a teacher in the school year and then wants to work for us in the summertime. When I click to vendor.
So the salary number surprised me, that's a big number. Five,
And that's,
553 for 71 people.
yeah, I mean, I think. We do have in our favor that there are a lot of people that have been with us for many years, so they know the operations, however, they do come at a price. When it comes to the lifeguards, 20 of those are new people, that's how many people I was able to round up this year, I think. In terms of what we could have had, it's probably a little bit on the, like, middle to high side. I always wanna aim closer to 50, which I know is,
For lifeguards.
for lifeguards, however, the people that are listed as. Swim instructors are also lifeguard certified, so they doubled down, I think it's just getting more coverage and these. People who are coming to work for us are having more and more time off, which I understand, family vacations. Not the week before or as you're on a flight to Puerto Rico, that's totally not how we operate, and. So I think some expectations there, which were definitely highlighted in the weaknesses section, but I think you're gonna see a little bit of a turnover. It's definitely better to hire 43 plus lifeguards and. I definitely don't tell other people how many we get because that's like totally not attainable for other towns. And they ask us what our tricks are and I say, I don't know, pizza, like.
Munchkins.
Right, if we have. a trick-
Munchkins,
if we have a
ice
trick, we're not
cream.
disclosing it to you.
I mean, our neighbors
They
Framingham,
like them?
they have, I don't know, 5 or 6 ponds, waterfronts, they were only able to open one.
Because
Every-
of staffing issues.
Because of staffing issues, and they did a good job and they moved it around, like they moved the staff, from location to location to make it equitable for people to be able to walk to. But all the other ones are from your own risk, and I don't know if you heard, it was a big deal in our thing, but they did have a drowning this year, this summer, at one of the non-lifeguarded facilities. And it wreaks havoc on the staff regardless if you're there or not, so. Um. Each year we seem to hire more and more kids for the same amount of time, and we still are able to do it, so. That's okay, but. I don't wanna get to the point where we're deciding, do we open at 9 AM or do we open at 11 AM to try and cut back hours? Because of our staff, like, we
Right.
can't. The pool's open from 7 in the morning to 8 o'clock at night, we need more than one shift. Of staff members in order to run that, so.
Did you feel that our pricing this year for passes and daily passes was okay? I mean, we struggled with what we were gonna do, right? We decided to raise prices and then we decided not to raise prices, is that right?
Our pass numbers went up from last year, I think. And we did have an influx with all the discounts. So I think that was a good choice, I think, what was 25% off at the super early rate, and then it like gradually went down the closer we got to the pool opening.
25 and 15%.
Yeah, 25 and 15, so.
Do we have a number of how many free passes we gave out?
Not on here.
For rain checks.
No,
Scholarships?
scholarships is what I meant to say.
we are working on pulling those numbers. They are not as easy. There's no report in MyRec where you can click a button.
Mhm.
So we have to kind of go through it. So we have
Go through the request, just, yeah.
we have all the information in MyRec that's hard to pull out. We have a spreadsheet of people that just request financial aid. And so we're looking at trying to populate that and make it more succinct because it's just unwieldy. It's a lot. I think we had over 300 requests for some sort of financial aid.
300.
Just for the pool or for other
No,
programs?
across
Okay,
the board, you know, because our scholarship, if you request scholarship, you receive it, it's good for 1 year. And it typically starts in the summer and then it moves through the spring and then we start over again in the summer.
okay.
The goal for this pool was to be break even.
I have talked to a lot of colleagues. None of them break even.
Yeah.
Close.
Yes. Exactly.
The ones that are closer are the ones that can rent it out for a premium, like at night, like the one in Wellesley, I know they rent out for like swim teams and things like that.
Okay.
We just
Yeah.
don't, you can't do that, and that's where the money comes in, but if we close the pool to the public so we could rent it. For a swim team, I don't think that's.
No, that was the intent.
Yeah, so,
Great.
yeah, pools are. What? Oh, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, like,
She wasn't.
maybe she doesn't have reports.
It's a really good.
I forgot about the ice cream situation.
Exactly.
I gotta know what the number one seller was.
Okay, yeah, stay. Go for-
I'm not gonna show them yet, what, these ones?
Just stay there. Okay.
Chip
so-
witches. It was chip
Chip,
witches.
wow.
Chip
But-
witch.
So we bought over $6,500 worth of product and brought in $17,000 worth.
Yay.
Yep.
I know, so
And those are the only 4 offerings we had.
Oh,
Oh,
those are the
okay.
most popular.
those are the most popular. Which the tropical rainbow ice was brought in for one of the family fun night themes.
Mhm.
That one's
Then
big.
Needham has pride.
I just want to interrupt and say, the school committee, you don't have this kind of fun during this. Right, chip witches and. You have different fun. I'm sure you do.
Dude, Chip, we should get this one.
The mint chocolate chip witches they're very good.
Really?
Yes, those were a big deal, but.
Well, good job. Can you scroll up so we can see those other expenses or scroll down?
No, we can stop sharing now.
Yeah.
I just want to see the, I asked about the opening and closing, that's all. So 50,
This one right here.
yeah, 70,000 on chemicals. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that original budget, which was, we were so far off and we didn't have numbers then.
You mean the first year I got here and then asked FinCom for like a 20% increase in our budget to cover our full company?
We said DPW can do it, and DPW said, no, we can't do it. Well, we learned. Okay. Thank you.
And the installation of the shade structure is here. This includes storage and cleaning of said shade structure, so they removed it, cleaned it, and they're storing it wherever tents get stored.
Who, is that somebody on outside?
It's an outside vendor.
Oh, a tent for rent?
It's a tent for rent, yep.
Oh, yes. Nice people.
Now, nice option.
Yeah, they can read the rest of it.
Okay.
At their leisure.
Well, thank you, Hannah, for waiting for this.
Next up is Chris's, pool report. As you can see, camp report, Chris has a much different system and method.
So many words.
He's a little verbose. So we're not gonna go through this, but, the registration records at the very last page. Will show you some of the numbers that he pulled together. I'm currently working on the profit and loss reports, for both the pool and the camp. For the pool, I just had to add 2025 and go back and double check everything. For the camp, we didn't do it last year, so I started from scratch. And so we're working to get the profit and loss from 2022 to 2025. What I can tell you is we took a $55,000 hit this year because of tennis.
for not offering lessons.
So
because
we, no,
instruction-
the tennis camp.
Tennis camp, excuse me,
Tennis
right.
camp, so the last 22, 23, and 24, we basically hovered between $50,000 and $60,000 of revenue from our tennis academy, so. It is stark when you see it next to each other, but that is the reason.
Was it mostly because of Newman? Or was it also the high school?
High school courts are down, we had
Yeah,
been
but
at the high school the last couple of years, but they were being finished. Newman was having a different kind of project with the asbestos, we didn't want anybody over there.
That was, that's where most of that tennis would have been held in the last couple of seasons, right?
It's been held at the high school the last few seasons.
Okay, I was thinking they were offline from us.
We do lessons.
They were
Oh, lessons.
offline to
Gotcha,
the
okay.
high school team, but we were able to, because we can make the courts a little bit smaller, we were able to offer lessons and camp over there.
So next year, not only will we have the high school courts open, but hopefully Newman won't be having
Newman
an
will be back.
asbestos project.
So, and I'm guessing. We'll have those numbers will be even bigger, because we'll be able to have more kids, like we maxed out of our, we had wait lists for our tennis academy every single week, every single year since I've started. And so now, I'm not saying we'll continue to have we'll fill them up, but we will have more space.
I know we said it last time, but those tennis courts look fabulous.
One thing I will say I think I visited some of the campsites a few times just delivering water. Kids are just having fun. I mean, the staff was attentive, the kids weren't unruly or just, kind of running it was very well organized, and these were at multiple locations, so it just wasn't like, oh yeah, Elliot was great and some of the other ones weren't. It was just the kids were active, they were engaged, they were energetic, and just to see what exactly the staff and everyone goes through, it was very impressive to see what these staff members do on a daily basis and still keep a smile on their face.
One of the things that Hannah and Chris added this year was a staff of the week t-shirt. So it was a tie-dye t-shirt with staff of the week, and that was, the kids really got into it, the staff, sorry, they're not kids. The staff really got into it and they were able to suggest their coworkers.
No,
So, thank you. They were able to nominate their friends, and so it was like a big deal. They really got into it, so it was nice. And for the cost of a tie-dye t-shirt, it just flew. So it was really fun to watch that.
I don't know about camps and the presentation that those, but the pool staff made me do speeches about all the kids. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was like Friday at noon, they'd be down there on the deck, they announced it. Be a big deal.
Good.
Yeah,
It's fun.
it was fun.
Years ago, Patty used to encourage us. She would take us around for half a day to I don't know if you ever did that. Did you ever, so she would take some of the commissioners. Honestly, she made us do it, but it was
We would
good.
be more than thrilled. to
And
take
she would
anybody
take us
around to our camps.
and we would visit several programs. I'm sure she told them ahead, but we would visit several programs during that day or half, probably one
Yeah.
morning or one afternoon. And it was really very interesting. We get to talk to them.
Yeah.
The kids, the young people running the programs as well as see what was going on. And it was a really good idea. I don't know how we could get this group of commissioners to go. But
This group of commissioners to do much, but that's.
I know, but it was.
Good for you.
I
You have one more event to go to.
Okay.
I will say that our town manager and deputy town manager the last couple of years have,
Have done
we've
that?
done a ride around with me and, they thought it was great.
Yeah, it's a good idea. We should
Because
do
you
it for the
don't
commission.
know what's
Yeah.
happening if you don't know what's happening.
Right, and you need to see them,
Yeah.
go to the fields or the facilities they're at. Yeah, Patty had us do it. I did it more than once and with her encouragement.
Just to do the end of the year barbecue or party or whatever it is, or no?
We don't want anybody to barbecue anymore.
No, we got fired from that job. because,
Yeah. This year we did pizza, right?
We have a get together.
Yes, we have a gathering, a banquet, end
Dina
of
dropped
season.
in, actually.
banquet, Yeah.
See, thought there was a meeting?
One year I did, Chipotle, that was a big hit. It's really expensive. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard they
It
give.
seems like a great
Yeah.
idea.
You
Oh,
know,
the
we
camp
did used to
staff.
cook.
Yeah,
Oh, the camp staff do the pizza eating contest?
Yep, that's gross. The camp staff last year requested, Chris asked them what they wanted, and they wanted mac and cheese and chicken nuggets from Sudbury Farms, and that's what we got them for their end of season banquet, and there was not one
nothing was left.
fraction
Wow.
of a kernel left, it was all gone.
Well, years ago, we used to leave our meeting and come up here and we cooked. We
Mhm.
cooked hamburgers, it was, there was no light, there were no lights, so we
No,
were cooking, so
Yeah.
I mean, kids were eating hamburgers, I'm sure they weren't cooked. It was awful, the commissioners were cooking and it was stupid, yeah. But
No.
Patty said one year, we're gonna do sandwiches, thank God.
yeah, no, we're happy to do.
Yeah, I
that.
think it was
Chicken nuggets or
Chicken.
pizza.
good, sounds like a good summer.
Fantastic. All right, go back to discussion items. Anything else in regards to camper pool reports that we want to add? Field user fee maintenance, we kind of went over that a little bit, or is there anything else you want to add on to
No,
that?
that was with the bit of
Okay.
baseball information that I added.
Got it. Okay, perfect. One of the things that we always kind of have as a placeholder is that we do it for capital projects. We do it for a lot of things, is that we do have the Paulo Middle School on there that I know, and I thank Hank and Merrill for sending over the answers to the questions. We did get them, is that I'm asking, and I know as you can see, there's only 3 commissioners here tonight. We do have 2 that are out, that we would like to have a response to those answers by the end of the week, if there are any follow-up questions to those set answers that you folks provided to us. So myself, I haven't had a chance to read them yet because I was traveling for work, but we will definitely take a look at it. And if we have any follow-up questions, we will communicate them out as quickly as we can. So thank you for that. Anything in regards to commission policies that we need to add, entertain, or anything else like that? Okay.
Not yet.
All right, on our next action item that we have on is any special event approvals. Okay. Policy approvals, nothing new for that one, no fee approvals. Meeting minutes.
They're in there. Thank you, Grace.
Grace,
Thank you, Grace.
Was able to turn them around pretty quickly.
scroll down. We will be able to make a vote because all of us were here on those.
Yes, you can all vote. Cause Dina was here on Zoom.
Mhm.
Mr. Chairman, for motion, we approve the minutes of October 22nd, 2025.
Were they sent in a separate email?
No,
In my packet, were they?
does your packet, is it the second packet?
And you
where
were in
your
the
letter
final.
is? It
Ah,
says
sorry, my bad.
final at the end of it.
Be here for a moment. Final version, sorry.
How many pages did she do? Oh, no, there's only 4.
All right, sorry about that. All right, yeah, the meeting of October 22nd, we have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the minutes of the meeting? Hearing none, all those in favor of approval of the minutes of October 22nd, please say aye.
Aye.
It passes unanimously. Right, go up this, chairs, anticipated issues not reasonably anticipated. I don't have anything. Do we want to bring up the park bench or is that something for later? Okay,
Yeah, we'll give you the information. We had some park, Paul Good brought us some Memorial Park benches, and so we'll bring the official information to you. Once we gather it all together, but
Yep.
it's all in process.
got it. The only thing I will say, I know this had nothing to do with us, but it was the company Activitas that did the viewing area up at Memorial.
Nope.
Who did? I
We're
thought,
so close.
what?
It was Steel Co. is the company that Activitas held the contract
That's
and
okay.
subcontracted to a fence company, wasn't Steel Co, it was. Not, anyway, they did the viewing area, yes, as
I-
part of the tennis project.
I've seen it be used many a times, and I think there's a great addition that, I mean, it's one of the things you want to say, how come we didn't do it originally or
Yeah.
sooner, but it is a great, it's a small area, but it does get filled, and I think it's great, I think it's a great idea that.
What's great, whose idea was that?
I don't,
It
it
was
was a
a,
request, wasn't
it was
it?
request by, I think the young woman that goes and watches the games, that needed accessibility. She could access the field on the ground, but then she couldn't really see too much, and she couldn't be with her friends, and so.
Crazy
Her
that we
parents
didn't
even-
think of it before this, but thank goodness
No, it's-
she made the request.
Yeah, she did it, and they were able to include it as part of that project, and it worked out well.
Fantastic. Topics for future meetings. I mean, if we have anything, whenever we send out that Wednesday ask of all the commissioners, if there's anything we want to add to it, we will definitely add to it, but I mean, I can't think of anything at this moment that's pressing that we need to add. So we don't automatically have as placeholders.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
I would add, as we mentioned briefly, that we think about that field summit.
yes,
Coming up with a date and coming up with topics, so I think we've had some things happen in the last few months that we would like
Yes.
to mention to the user groups and hopefully Stacy is cataloging those, because I'm not gonna remember them, if I have, I'll write them down, but we've had some issues that I think we need to address with the user groups. And
Agreed.
with fees would be part of it, but there's been some things happening. So I wouldn't mind getting that started another time.
Perfect.
So quickly.
no, we agree, agree. In regards to next meetings, we have the next 4 of them slated out probably till the end of the year. As I said before, we will be taking a group photo for the commission and one of
Which
these.
days?
I'm thinking, but the 24th.
Sure.
That ideally we'll put that as a placeholder, that we will get an updated commission picture, that if we cannot do the 24th, we will gravitate towards the. I will not do the same joke 3 times, joke 3.
You'll remind us that we're taking.
Yes.
So we're wearing our parking shirts or.
Or vests or whatever we can.
If we had a
get,
vest, we
you
would
know.
wear a vest, but somehow we don't seem to qualify for this.
Nikki is now in charge of apparel.
Does the school committee have vests?
No, the school committee doesn't have
School
a
committee
tech
doesn't
vest, and
have
if they
vests?
do, they should tell us
Do you have
that
like
they don't.
jackets or anything, school?
Nope.
committee?
They don't, see?
Something like Hank has right there, you guys got nothing?
Oh, Hank is staff.
I know it's staff, but I mean, just as an example, of what they could
Let it
look
go,
like.
call Nikki, she's in charge.
Not a vest, either?
Sweater, like
We didn't-
an ascot or something. Sure.
We gave you polos.
We gave you
We have
the.
some.
We always get
I've got one in every color. And I actually nice.
So I
There's a football game on tonight.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. The next PPDC meeting is
Is November 3rd.
November 3rd.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Anything else any meeting, commission members have for tonight? All right, hearing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thanks, Grace.